Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and today we are doing a mid-year check-in on my reading journal. I know we're already halfway through July, but I thought it was time to show you how my journal is looking halfway through the year. This is my reading journal. It's a square Archer and Olive journal, dotted, and I absolutely love a square journal for a reading journal. Let's just start our flip through. I'll be chatty in some portions and maybe just flip through in some, or in others. But I have this tip in here. This helps me with my star ratings. I will show you that once we get to the pages where I actually use it. Here's like the opening dashboard, my goals for the year. I've really only accomplished one goal fully, but I am making great strides toward my other goals. Here is one full bookshelf. I think it looks so pretty. So again, here are the colors that correspond with each of the books. I color in the spine depending on the star rating I give the book. So each shelf in this bookshelf is for a different month. So January, February, March, April, May, and June. I love how this looks. Here is the next set of bookshelves for the second 6 months of the year. We are a few days into July, so I have a few books up here. Here is where I keep track of stats, and we've been through this before, but this bar up here is just how many books I've read for each month. Then I put a little tick mark for format of the book, whether it was physical, audio, ebook, or a combination of those formats. For author stats, I keep track of the gender of the author, whether it was multiple authors or just one, if it was BIPOC, or if that author was not from the United States. Another tick for ratings, 5 all the way down to DNF. And then I also do a tick here if there is any sort of LGBTQ plus representation, or if the author is LGBTQ plus. Up here we've got genre, we've got age demographic, and we've got the year published. As you can tell, I have been reading a lot more recent releases as of late. Here we've just got monthly reading in review. I like to see at a month glance how many books I've read, how many pages I've read, did I complete my TBR, how many are new favorites, and basically that's just been 5-star reads. And then how many books I bought. That is a fun new stat I've been tracking this year. And it's big, folks. In June, I bought 21 books. Here is a series tracker. This light brown color are books that I had read before 2024. And now the darker brown is books that I read in 2024. So you can see I've finished 5 series in 2024 so far, and have made some good progress on others too. Here's where I start tracking challenges and goals. This is my Goodreads goal. I have read 109 books this year so far. That's what it says right here. Whereas in the bookshelves, I color them by star rating. Here, I color them by genre. So you can kind of see a pattern. I lean toward historical and contemporary. I am surprised at how many fantasy and sci-fi are represented on this list. That'll be fun to see if that continues throughout the rest of the year. Here's my buzzword reading challenge for 2024. I have kept up with it monthly and hope to continue to do so. My A to Z challenge, I'm doing really, really well. I am just missing Q, R, Y, and Z. But Q and Z are super hard. I don't know why R has been so difficult, but I did get a recommendation by someone to read The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, and I really would like to do that soon. Next, we've got my Read to Zero challenge. This is not going well, folks. I have just been loving buying books and filling up my shelves lately. So we started off the year with 244 books that I owned and had not read. At the end of June, we were at 259. So it's going up, but it's not like huge amounts that we're growing. My Book of the Month challenge is going pretty well. I have read 10 out of 15 Book of the Months, 2 out of 5 debut darlings. I have met the 4 page pushers goal, and I've read 5 out of 6 genres. I don't know what genre I'm gonna have to pick up next, probably mystery or thriller in order to get that goal. We've got my self-destruct books. I have read 3 out of 12, and I'm in the middle of one trying to decide if I'm going to DNF or keep reading Priest Daddy. And these are kind of like my 12 books in each category that I want to read. 12 adaptations, 12 Kindle books, 12 borrowed books, and 12 nonfiction books. And I'm doing really well on these so far. I decided to keep track of the books we read in my book club that I have with my friends. We call ourselves the Honeybee Book Club, and these have gone pretty well so far. None of them have been less than a 3-star for me, which is good. My favorites, the standouts, are The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. This was actually a reread for me, and I gave it 5 stars upon reread. And then The Thursday Murder Club was the other 5-star by Richard Osman. The others, though, are very good. Like Berry Pickers is great. I also keep track of my Read It or Not challenge. This is a video series I have been doing all year, once per month, and it's really fun. I draw a book out of my TBR jar, and I either have to read it right then or DNF it and unhaul it. I have little X's by the books that I have unhauled, so I've gotten rid of about 10 books throughout the year so far, and then read a bunch of others on my shelves that I would never have gotten to if not for this challenge. Next, we're getting into the monthly spreads, so these will be pretty similar going forward. What I like to have on a monthly dashboard is my deck of TBR, so the books I hope to get to for the month, and the prompt that I drew in my deck of TBR game. Here I did a best and worst. I do not continue that on through the rest of the months. And then this is just a table of everything I read. So I read 19 books. I list the book, the author, the pages, and also the time if I listened to the book, how many days it took me to read, because I just find that statistic fun, what rating I gave it, and then how I discovered the book, because I like to tell someone if I read a book that they recommended to me. I also had a list of books that I bought here. I do continue this on throughout the following months. After I do the monthly dashboard, I do reviews for every book that I read, and they're much more personal reviews. It's not necessarily reviewing the literary merit of the book. It is how I felt about the book and what characters I liked and what tropes were represented. So I print a book cover, I copy the picture off of Goodreads and print it in a Word document. I put the star rating, I write what I thought of it, and then if there were ever any quotes that I marked in the book, I write those down in a different color pen. So I'm just going to flip through these. If you want to take a closer look, feel free to pause as we go. A standout here, The Women. That is my favorite book of the year so far. I also like to put readathons, usually at the beginning of the month, but I forgot. And so I participated in the Short Stack Readathon in January, as well as Phase Out Your TBR, which is hosted by Chris's Corner here on YouTube. At the end of the month, I do a stats page, have some graphs for format, audience, rating, and genre, and then I just do a little goal update too every month. Here we are in February. One thing about the themes, I correspond them with the themes in my bullet journal, so the journal that I just have for everyday scheduling and things. I also added a calendar in February, which I really, really like. I think it's so fun to see how many books I read in a single day, or at least books that I touched. I didn't necessarily complete them in a single day, but then how long it took me for each book. I also added DNFs here, so any dot that has a letter in it, those were DNFs. Yeah. Again, keep my deck of TBR, books read, and the books that I bought. I also started tallying how much I spent on books each month. Here are the reviews. Let's see, what was my best book of February? I think maybe Small Things Like These, or Falling by TJ Newman. But again, stats page. And we're on to March. March was the craziest month because I read a book a day in March. I read 31 books. This was mostly due to the fact that I took part in middle grade March, so I read a lot of middle grade books. However, not all of them were middle grade. Here were my deck of TBR prompts. I had 10 this month, and then other options, which I got to a lot of those as well. Here were the middle grade March prompts. I completed those prompts in that TBR pretty easily. I also participated in Realmathon this month, which just kept my reading quick and fun because we were competitive in this readathon. You could either read for positive points for your team or put negative points onto another person's team. That was really, really fun, and I was on the team that won, Team of Shadows, so that was great. Some standouts this month were Matilda by Roald Dahl, The One and Only Ruby by Catherine Applegate, Iceberg by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I read Guernsey this month for my book club. A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus, Alebrijes by Donna Barbara Higuera, New Kid by Jerry Craft. A really great reading month. I participated in Phase Out Your TBR again. This was for Phase 3. And my stats. On to April. Again, this has remained the dashboard since I figured it out in February. I love having the calendar and my lists on this side. Just for the summer, one of my favorite romances of the year. I read a bunch of Titanic books this month for the Titanic vlog that I put out on April 14th. I read Brandi Carlile's memoir, which was a surprise, a great surprise, really good memoir. Oh, and The Idea of You. That's another favorite romance. I read it twice and watched the movie. So good. Stats. Here I decided, instead of drawing my charts like I had done in previous months, I decided to print them out on Canva. They just look much more consistent and accurate. In May, I did a deck of cards theme because I announced my Patreon, which is always linked below in my videos. My patron tier theme is the suits. So I have the spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts tier. Anyway, I participated in Escape the Readathon that was hosted by Books with Lexi. This is a really fun, competitive, team-based readathon. You try to escape. Last year we escaped a haunted house, and this year we escaped a carnival. Except my team didn't escape. We got third place. I also did another round of Phase Out Your TBR. And here are the reviews. I did a romantasy reading vlog this month, which you can see with A Fading to Blood, Iron Flame, Serpent and the Wings of Night. Oh, I read Manacled, which was so great. Another great romance, but like different because there's time jumps and such, is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. I completed The One and Only Family in May. And had my first Patreon book club with Delilah Green Doesn't Care. The stats pages. Love how uniform this looks. And we're on to June, the last month of the half year. I've been consistently reading like in the teen amount of books, which is nuts. It seems like so many books, but I love reading. That's what I do. Here are the reviews. I had to do a little different for quotes. I tried to use my dot pens and like section out the quotes. Don't love how this looks. I like having more color, but this was still good. I found a new favorite in A Psalm for the Wild-Built. Such a great cozy sci-fi, I would call it. Laundry Love was a great surprise. 5 stars there. The Violin Conspiracy was such a fun mystery. A lot of 5 stars this month. The Frozen River, Thursday Murder Club, Listen for the Lie. Such a great month. Here are my stats. I had this empty page. I think I might put a readathon for July here because next we're moving on to July. I can give you a little sneak peek as to how July is going. Finished 5 books so far, and I've got my reviews. So that is my reading journal. Nothing too exciting, but I really love tracking my books this way. I also track in a spreadsheet. Let me know if you'd ever like to see a video of how I track books there. But I like to have a visual representation of the books that I read. It's so nice to be able to go back and look at Drowning by T.J. Newman and see what quote stuck out to me and what rating I gave it. I can go back and look at the stats. I know that they're all right here in this table. it just works out really, really well for me. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you keep a reading journal and do you have similar spreads to mine, different. It'd be great to have some discussion with you down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.